Hi everyone, welcome back for the second episode of Stories with Sarah. This week we'll be exploring the theme of imagination and thinking about the impact that our imagination can have on our own lives and the world around us. So before we get started, let's think about that word, imagination. What is it? We can use our imagination to do all sorts of things. For example, I can use my imagination to imagine a hippo in a tutu doing somersaults on the moon. I can use my imagination to imagine what the sand feels like beneath my feet as I walk along the beach. I can use my imagination to imagine a garbage gobbling machine that can pick up all the plastic out of the ocean. People, all different kinds of people, use their imaginations every day. Painters, writers, researchers, dancers, musicians, scientists, inventors. We can all use our imaginations in fun ways and in important ways. So how do you use your imagination? Today, I am going to read you a story about a little mouse named Frederick who uses his imagination to help his family and his friends when they all have to hibernate for the winter. So when animals hibernate, it means they have to stay inside. And as I read you the story, I want you to notice the impact that Frederick's imagination has on his life and the life of his community during their hibernation. So this book is called Frederick by Lionni. And this has been one of my favorite books since I was young. All along the meadow where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice had their home. But the farmers had moved away, the barn was abandoned, and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far off, the little mice began to gather corn and nuts and wheat and straw. They all worked day and night, all except Frederick. "Frederick, why don't you work?" they asked. "I do work," said Frederick. "I gather sun rays for the cold, dark winter days." And when they saw Frederick sitting there staring at the meadow, they said, "And now, Frederick?" "I gather colors," answered Frederick simply, "for winter is gray." And once, Frederick seemed half asleep. "Are you dreaming, Frederick?" they asked reproachfully. But Frederick said, "Oh no, I am gathering words, for the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say." The winter days came, and when the first snow fell, the 5 little mice took to their hideout in the stones. In the beginning, there was lots to eat, and the mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. But little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries, and the straw was gone, and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. Then they remembered what Frederick had said about sun rays and colors and words. "What about your supplies?" they asked. Close your eyes, said Frederick, as he climbed on a big stone. Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel how their golden glow? And as Frederick spoke of the sun, the 4 little field mice began to feel warmer. Was it Frederick's voice? Was it magic? And how about the colors, Frederick? They asked anxiously. Close your eyes again, Frederick said. And when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies and the yellow wheat, and the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw the colors as clearly as if they had been painted in their minds. And the words, Frederick? Frederick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, as if from a stage, he said, "Who scatters snowflakes? Who melts the ice? Who spoils the weather? Who makes it nice? Who grows the 4-leaf clovers in June? Who dims the daylight? Who lights the moon? 4 little field mice who live in the sky. 4 little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers. Then comes the summer who paints in the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat. And winter is last with little cold feet. Aren't we lucky the seasons are 4? Think of a year with 1 less or 1 more." And when Frederick had finished, they all applauded. "But Frederick," they said, "you are a poet." Frederick blushed, took a bow, and said shyly, "I know it." So now that we finished the story, I want you to think about if you noticed that the way Frederick's family thought about his imagination changed from the beginning to the end. What do you think? I noticed that at the beginning they were annoyed with Frederick. They didn't really understand how powerful the work he was doing could be. And then, at the end, they really appreciated his imagination and realized how much they needed it. So, especially in times where we have to stay inside, where we might get bored or things might be kind of hard, imagination can be a really powerful gift. And I encourage you to use your imagination in any way that feels good for you. So the song that I want to sing for you all today has been one of my favorite songs since I was a little girl. It's called Pure Imagination, and it's from the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I've always seen this song as an invitation to let your imagination run wild and free. Because if you do, anything is possible. leave you with one more thing today before we go, and it's another poem by Shel Silverstein. This one is from Where the Sidewalk Ends, and this poem is called Magic. Sandra's seen a leprechaun. Eddie touched a troll. Lori danced with witches once. Charlie found some goblin's gold. Donald heard a mermaid sing. Susie spied an elf. But all the magic I have known, I've had to make myself. So use that imagination. Go out there today and make some magic for yourself, for your friends, for your family. If you open your mind and let yourself imagine, truly, truly anything is possible. Bye.